Hello, everybody. It is May 2nd. Thunderbolts just came out, and Lady Madea and I are just back from seeing it. We're going to talk about our thoughts here. Whoa! The Thunderbolts is a film that is concluding Phase 5 of Marvel's cinematic universe. It is a grounded, more character driven narrative that diverges from the franchise's recent multiversal themes and adventures. This film is directed by Jack Schreier, and it unites a team of anti-heroes. We got Yelena, Bucky Barnes, Red Guardian, Ghost, U.S. Agent, and briefly Taskmaster, under the manipulation and guidance of the CIA director Valentina D. Fontaine. So, not a crazy complicated plot like we've been getting. As far as what I thought here, it feels like we're almost preconditioned to hate movies like this before we even see them, before they even come out, between social media, echo chambers, leaks, constant MCU burnout talk. It's easy to walk into a film like this and expect it to flop or expect it to suck, or even wanting it to flop or suck. That's just kind of the space we've been in, and I don't think it's healthy to want things to suck. So I saw this movie and I really enjoyed it. I'm not the only one either in our sphere. Uh, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers said some good things about this. Chris Gore had some good things to say about this. And honestly, that kind of surprised me in a good way. The movie doesn't try to be anything more than it was. It's a good, fun, solid Marvel flick with a great ensemble and some surprisingly good uh, comedy that actually landed for me. The chemistry between the characters really works. They played off of each other in a way that felt natural, not forced. It had that scrappy, dysfunctional team energy, but without being overkill. And what I really appreciated was the movie didn't come with some heavy handed agenda. It just focused on telling a story, giving us action, some laughs, and characters that we can root for. That felt genuinely refreshing. What did you think, Lady Medea?
No. I'm not even sure what to think. I have some mixed feelings about that movie. And again, I just want to put it out there. I never go to movies um with my mind made up, just what you mentioned about, kind of listening to critics or listening to other reviews. I didn't even listen to Jeremy, Chris Gore, or anybody else. So I don't genuinely, I don't even know what they think, what they're saying about the movie. But to me, it kind of felt a little bit like a Avengers parody movie. So it kind of like, no, just listen, just hear me out. Just like kind of like somebody freshly out of the movie school, the film school, just kind of decided, okay, that's it. I'm tired of Marvel watching all those movies recently, all those superhero movies, and I'm gonna just do it my way. And they just kind of you know hired the second class actors, hired the second class writers. So it, like, I couldn't shake the feeling that it all the many times when I watched the movie, it kind of felt short, comparing to Avenger movies that we used to. So, like, I don't want to be like very critical about that, because there were a lot of components that I actually did enjoy about it. Like you mentioned, the comedy, I absolutely was laughing. Most of the movie, they really nailed it with with how funny that movie was. And David Harbour as the Elena's dad. I have to mention him, like, right here, right now. He was killing me with his Russian accent, with him drinking vodka all the time, with his comments, with his costume, with his big belly sticking out, skin type costume. I really enjoyed his performance. He really nailed it. I noticed this, that we've seen him in quite a few movies recently. That he kind of, since Stranger Things, he kind of started appearing, and this was by far my favorite appearance of his. He did excellent job. So the comedy in this movie was definitely beautiful, beautiful. But some of the things that like I was concerned with, um, was that it wasn't just kind of comparing to the other Avenger movies. Like when it came to the plot, when it came to grandiose of those fights, of the battles between the bad guys and the good guys. And and then the thing that I want to mention, um you know the part of the movie where they actually go to defeat the bed sentry. They kind of go into the darkness, and they go through the rooms, and they just kind of face their own demons. That actually that part actually annoyed me, because it was how many movies we've seen when the characters have to go and face their demons of their past, or deal with the depression, or deal with some kind of mental health issues. So that was very stretched out. That was overplayed, because, like I said, there was many movies actually within Marvel movies. We've had that before. Yeah. So those were just couple things that I did not enjoy about the movie, but it was well balanced by a couple some things that um you know were funny. Like you mentioned, the actors did really good job playing, even though the names are not your first, um how would you call those actors, like the first tier actors.
Like B list.
Yeah, so they were a little bit less known names, but they did very good job. They had a great chemistry. It was nice to see that how they had to learn each other and trust each other. I always like that kind of character development in movies. So those are the positives. What about
Awesome.
you?
I so for me, I go into Marvel movies always, of course, hoping they're going to be good,
Hmm.
and not pushing an agenda. And something that I saw on Chris Gore's show earlier today was Wyatt Russell, who plays John F. Walker. He was on the official Marvel podcast, and he is the one who said this movie has no agenda. It's just a good, fun time at the movie
Hmm.
theaters. And he said that's what movies are supposed to be: escapism. You go have fun at the movie theater for a couple hours and you leave. That's what this film felt like to me, and to hear an actor in the movie say that means he recognizes that some of these movies have had agendas. So, just refreshing to hear that, and like I said, earlier, I enjoyed it overall. I liked some of the themes the movie was going for here. Before I talk about those themes, seeing Gary, Neurotic, some of the other people in this sphere, they really were pushing that this is like a huge therapy session, and like it's a mental health, uh you know I didn't get that vibe too much. Yes, I know that these people have been treated bad throughout their life. They've had bad things happen to them. Maybe they suffer from depression and anxiety and such. I 100% understand that, but I didn't feel like as an audience member they were preaching to me that I need to go to therapy or that. um
I think throughout the movie, it was kind of well hidden. Maybe the initial conversation that Elena and Sentry had, or Bob had, down in the bunker. Um, but just that scene where she kind of has to go through the rooms, and like everybody has to go through the rooms eventually, and um, kind of go through her past, and kind of, like I said, face some of her demons, and from her past. I felt that was a little bit too much. That took too long. It was almost like to me, okay, let's just move on. Let's just eh, let's just kind of leave that behind and let's go forward. And I understand why they had to um, kind of focus on that because of the Sentry's character, the good versus bad in one person. By the way, this is a character that I am actually quite unfamiliar with. Um, so that was the first time that I seen him and heard of him. As you know, I'm not familiar with the comic book, so I'm curious. Is he there to stay? Is he an important character, or can you tell me a little bit more about him?
Yeah, so the Sentry or Bob, which I enjoyed how they
Okay.
they called him Bob. It was a good way to introduce the character. But yeah, he's a newer I mean he was created in the year 2000, so he's definitely a newer Marvel character, but he's essentially Superman of the Marvel universe. That's how, and I'm sure you saw that how strong he is. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's Superman. But the thing is, when he had the serum, whatever was done to him to make him like that, it also I don't want to say broke his mind, but it unleashed the dark side of him, which is called the void. And anytime he uses his powers for good, he risks having the void come out. So that's why he doesn't like to use his powers a lot,
Mm-hmm.
because he's scared that the void is going to come out and essentially take over, which happens a lot in the comics. He's a very tragic character, always going through themes of identity, power, and self destruction. I think the movie did a good job portraying that as his character. I just think his arc was a little bit rushed. Um, you know, he got the costume on, and then it felt like the 20 minutes went by and that was it. So that is the character, that is his origin. It's just
Mm-hmm.
I felt like his arc in the movie was a little bit rushed. That could have been me, but as far as his theme though in the film, he was a powerhouse. Uh, but he felt like a barely contained storm, which is what I liked. No one really knew what to do with him. You could tell everyone was really scared of him towards the end of the movie.
Right.
I liked his arc, but like I said, it was a little rushed. But he brought contrast, raw chaos versus the team's need for control, which I thought worked well for the characters that we had in this film.
Mm-hmm.
You get the theme of being used too, manipulated by a system. In this case, Valentina and her CIA Black Ops missions, and how each of the characters handles that. They're all handling it differently in their own way, and it's not shoved in your face as an audience member. It's just very subtly there if you pay attention. So, I did appreciate those types of things. I mean, really, the movie is just a bunch of broken people who are forced to work together, who kind of accidentally become friends. Some could even say, a family, but it's not, to your point earlier, Magda, it's not neat or polished like the Avengers. This group is not the Avengers. They'll never be the Avengers. It's messier, it's more human, and in a way, it's more relatable to me than the Avengers are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm not discounting or discrediting the Avengers. Those films are, of course, leagues ahead of this. But just speaking for this story, I truly do think if this came out before Endgame, people would really, really like it. And it seems audiences are responding. The movie pulled in 11 million last night during Thursday night previews, which is a solid start. And my theater was packed. It was
So
actually
was
good.
mine. I actually went by myself and I had somebody sitting next to me in this little, the recliner section next to me. That it's like a love seat. So it was a girl, but well, not that I had a hottie there.
Oh, that's okay. What's your final consensus on this movie?
I mean, it was fun to see. It was a good entertainment piece. And yeah, it will be interesting to see going forward. You know what else they're gonna come up with? How they gonna? I know they're gonna be in the new 2026 movie, right? So we'll see how they're gonna mingle with the rest of the with the rest of the Avengers. And um, just kind of like a thought, it reminded me of the, it's a group of people, and the another group of people that we've seen was the oh Jesus Christ, I forgot the name, with the rocket.
The Guardians.
Yes, the Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's so they always would, every time they appear, it's like a, it's a chaos, and it's super funny, and they also have a lot of humor in them, and they kind of like a bunch of misfits, so it kind of reminds me of that group. There's another group created to kind of, I feel like they're gonna be bringing a lot of humor, and just the both groups are gonna be looking at each other like, what is happening? If I can imagine, it's like, who are those people, and what they think they do, and so it's gonna, yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting to see what what they gonna, yeah, what it's gonna be going forward.
So what do you rate it?
I think I give it 6.5.
Okay, okay. Um, for me, just because of how much fun I had and how
Mhm.
genuinely surprised I was, redemption and second chances being a big part of the story. Again, I said it earlier, this is not a team of clean cut heroes. It's not Steve Rogers. It's not, Tony Stark. It's people with baggage trying to do something right. And that I think really hit home with Bucky's character, which I appreciated because look at his history with Hydra and being brainwashed.
Yeah.
So, very similar, themes there. So I did appreciate that. I wish Bucky was in it a little bit more than he was. He wasn't really in it until the third
Yeah,
act,
I was a little was disappointed with that too.
but he'll be back. Overall, I'm gonna give this one a 7.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. Like I said earlier, there was no agenda, which left me with a genuinely refreshing Marvel experience. So
Outside.
6.5 here and 7.5 here. You heard it here, folks. If you're not part of the GCA, go ahead and like and subscribe. We would love to have you here. Thank you.